So he was in a band called Scream, before he was in Nirvana, and they played in Santa Barbara where I grew up. And I was in a band at the time called Rat Pack, and our band opened up for their band.
And what's touring
at a Chinese restaurant? I never toured back then. I never in high school. I almost got a chance to join. There was a local band from Santa Barbara called RKL, Rich Kids on LSD, and they were looking for a bass player. My brother Scott is an incredible bass player, and so they really wanted to get him in the band. They called our house looking for him, but I answered the phone. And so they wound up coming over and playing me their new record. They had just made this record that was like kind of a groundbreaking record in punk rock world called Lifestyles of the Rich Kids on LSD. And it was fucking nuts. Like, it was way beyond my ability. And I remember Balmer, who was the drummer and kind of the songwriter and leader of that band, came over and sat there in my bedroom and played me all these songs. And I didn't even bother to try. I just said, dude, I can't play that, man. Mm-hmm. So it was like, that was my first little taste of almost joining a band that I would have gone on the road and stuff, but it was, I had to wait a few more years.
Now, years after that, when you were on the road with the punk rock bands and stuff, how was that?
It's great.
You just in a van? Or?
Yeah, in a van, we had like an Econoline, I think it was, and it was like a pop-top Econoline. It was a grace. Because I never went anywhere when I grew up, so I was so eager to tour. I just wanted to get out and see the world. I didn't care where I was. I'd be in the, just on some empty road in the Midwest. You'd drive by a silo and be like, fuck, look at that silo. It's amazing. This is the best.
And you guys would just do like Whiskey a Go-Go's across the country,
or like worse than that. Most of the time, it'd be
shit.
Yeah, like VFW halls and the Elks Lodge, and then every now and again you'd play a club that had a decent PA or something. But a lot of the time it'd be pretty low rent.
So it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's for sure. Right. I mean, the craziest thing. I mean, outside of there's so many crazy things about when I joined the Foo Fighters, but one of the great things to me at the time was like I just didn't have to load my gear anymore. I just gave my guitar to this guitar tech, and then I never had to see it again until it was showtime. It was like heaven.
So, like, what do you think? Because I don't know music that well. There has to be when you audition for the Foo Fighters, there's a lot of people who can play guitar really well. What do you think stood out for you? Like, why did they choose you? Like, what are bands looking for when they audition someone for something like that?
I don't know. It's a funny thing because I've never asked. Like, I never asked Dave or the other guys, like, specifically, why did I get the gig? I don't know. I have my theories. But I think, I'd like to think that part of it was at least that I learned the shit before I came in.
Okay.
And, like, had it, So knew how to play their songs.
So you played their songs. Now, I thought you might have played some, like, covers or something.
No, it was, they sent me a cassette tape of the stuff. I was actually in New York visiting some friends of mine and got a call from Foo Fighters tour manager, Gus, who was like, hey, we're having auditions next week. We'll send you some songs if you want to come down and do it. So they sent me a cassette tape. And on the cassette tape, you see, they had made the third record with like Learn to Fly and all that on it, but it wasn't out yet. So I didn't know that record. Nobody knew that record yet. But so it was a song off the first record, a song off the second record, a song off the Godzilla soundtrack that I hadn't heard, but I guess was out, and then a song off the unreleased third record.
Learn to Fly.
Yeah. It wasn't that. So it was a song called Aurora.
No, but it was Learn to Fly.
That.
Now, what was the album where the drummer quit and then Dave had to go in and do the tracks? Was Learn to Fly?
That was the second record.
That was the second record.
Yeah. That was the second.
Just great stories, like just how Dave put the band together.
Yeah.
The first guy joined. He didn't want to tour. He split, and then he came back years later.
Yeah.
But you're still the lead. And he's more of a rhythm guy? Or?
I mean, there's not a ton of lead guitar type of stuff in Foo Fighters. So I always get called the lead guitar player, but I just think I'm just one of the guitar players.
It's just amazing how much the music has changed. Like, when I was growing up, you had a lead.
Right.
You had a lead.
Well, totally. Everybody, that was like when I was a kid. Right. That's why I play guitar the way I do. Is because I wanted to be Ace Frehley and Randy Rhoads, and I wanted to be one of those guys.
Who did you look up to when you first started?
Oh, Ace Frehley was.
How fucking good is Ace?
Yeah, he's the man.
I'm an Ace guy. I'm a Randy Rhoads guy.
Randy Rhoads was a big one.
But I'm also a David Gilmour guy.
Sure.
David Gilmour could take you to places where...
I mean, I liked all those guys when I grew up.
I love all those guys.
I loved Richie Blackmore was a really big one for me. Eddie Van Halen. I
just didn't like his fucking attitude. Right. Richie Blackmore always got on my last fucking nerve. He could never keep a singer. Right. You see what he looks like today?
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking witch. Like, the fact that he's on the road, he should be shot and hung. He's not touring Deep Purple, right? He's touring something else. So. Like he let Deep Purple.
Doesn't he play like lute music or something?
He is out of his mind. If you look up what he looks like, I saw a picture of him. He looks like a witch. He wears the witch hat, the whole fucking thing. I thought he was always. I saw him when I was young. It was like Rainbow and like the
you saw Rainbow? Really?
Yeah.
See, I never got to see Rainbow. Like that era. I mean, Ronnie James Dio for me was like that lineup of Rainbow.
Tremendous. Tremendous. What's the one? I forget the album.
Well, there's like Kill the King and
Kill the King.
The good songs. Yeah, Long Live Rock and Roll.
Long Live Rock and Roll. Then there's that one.
Which one? Man on the Silver Mountain.
Man on the Silver Mountain. But then there's. But where do we go?
Oh yeah. What is that called? Is that Stargazer?
Yes. Stargazer. I loved all that shit.
Oh yeah.
I love Clapton. You gotta love Page somewhere along the line in there.
Sure.
Once you watch the live shows out of New York, you're like, what the fuck was he thinking?
Yeah.
That was 1973.
Oh yeah.
So, who were your influences? Basically,
it was like all that. I was lucky. I had older brothers. My older brothers had great record collections, so it was a lot of Stones, a lot of Beatles, and then just all the classic rock stuff: Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, Deep Purple,
Perry, another fucking
all that stuff.
Joe Perry's savagery too.
Yeah, and then it sort of turned into like Judas Priest and Scorpions and all that sort of thing. Iron Maiden was a big one. In our house, Rush. My brother Scott went like deep into Rush, so that was definitely.
I didn't like Jake Lee. Got on my
Geddy Lee.
Fucking nerve, whatever his fucking name is. The drummer's one of the best in the business at that time. I still thought it was the guy from the Police. I saw him live, and he was just fucking amazing. Bazio from Joe's Garage was always great. I mean, I liked all those guys. But as far as guitars, I was a Gilmore guy. Randy just flipped the fucking switch. I was there when Van Halen opened up for Sabbath at the Garden.
Oh, really?
And it was like silence. When he did Eruption and You Really Got Me and Running for the Devil, like you just knew it was something special. But when I heard Randy, I knew we were on to a different fucking.
Yeah, I was so sad. I never got to see him play live. It was just I was a little too young. I didn't start going to shows till like '83. So I missed. I didn't get to see a lot of those bands.
I still remember the Dio Ozzy crossover.
Yeah. Dio was my first. That was my first concert.
Okay.
It was Dio on his first tour.
No shit.
Yeah.
With Vivian Campbell.
Guys? Jimmy Bain and Vivian Campbell, and Vinny Appice, that lineup. Tremendous. Yeah, unbelievable.
But it was crazy how his the crossover to Sabbath was really rough for a lot of people.
I loved it. I thought Heaven and Hell was a great record.
Well, let me tell you something. I was the first one that wanted to shoot Dio, but when I heard the fucking album, the proof is in the fucking pudding.
Absolutely.
As much as I wanted to hate fucking Dio, I drove all the way to Philly, and we saw Sabbath with Dio, Sammy Hagar with Shakin' Street. People were fucking putting spit on their fingers and flinging them at Sammy Hagar because Philadelphia has so much class. You know what I'm saying? When they like it in Philly, they like it. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.